Well, thank you for coming to say hello. I'm so happy to see your name pop up. I'm just always delighted to see you, and I'm so jealous that you're at a beach. Although I was at the beach this weekend too. I was working. I didn't have a chance to get in there and go play. So I hope you're doing something wonderful to go play, and hopefully we will not have to escape our country. So, love you. Mwah. All right, let's see if we can do this again. Let's see if we can. There I are. Can you hear me? Here I are. Here I are. Hooray! Here I are. All right, so I want to tell you. We had a lovely time in Daytona Beach at Spirit Fest, yay, and yay, we can hear me. And it was wonderful, really wonderful to meet all kinds of new, wonderful, amazing people. And so here's the thing that had happened. People can put thumbs up, yay. Things have the power that we give them, but sometimes we still need a little help, okay? So it does seem like on Sunday, there was some negative energy that was around, and sometimes we have to confront that stuff head on, okay? So we are in the moon is moving into the sign of Libra, right? As we are still in the waxing moon, the moon is going up. We'll be in full moon in another week or so. When you hear me talk all the time, I really try to be very positive. I try to bring, light. I try to bring, the you can do it. Because I think we have plenty of the other stuff here in our world that we don't need more of that. And I make a choice to not spiritual bypass and not to be Pollyanna, but to make sure that what we're putting and what our community of light is about is really about bringing light and encouragement and support. And so sometimes there are going to be people who are not in alignment with that, and they're going to want to work against that. And I don't put a lot of stock or energy into things like spells or curses or people who want to put attachments on you or, control or manipulate, because now control and manipulate, we know that people can definitely do that, especially for those who are not energetically empowered or in understanding or in control of their energies, things like that. So we know that can be a lot of empaths, untrained empaths, or people who are opening up to energies or spirits and things like that. So we do need to be safe, and we do need to be conscious, and we do need to protect ourselves. That said, when you're at an event and the person sitting next to you or wherever is trying to send negative, blocking energy your way, you have some choices. And this can be whether you're at a sporting event, a theatrical event, a vendor event. It could be, all the things that you are having the opportunity to say, I am going to allow this energy to come in, or I am going to create light and push this energy out and create a bubble of protection. And it also helps to have, a friend with some good, cleansing spray as well. But it's very interesting because it happens from time to time, and I really put this all in the same category as the spammers and scammers that try to come and be in here, that when you're doing something good, so on Saturday, our booth was clicking a lot. We were busy. We were busier than anybody around us. So not too surprisingly, on Sunday, we had a little bit of, energy stuff going on. We can create that bubble of protection. Chris says you're always in a bubble of protection because your body is inside your spirit. Correct. But we do have to direct it, okay? We can't just be floating around like Glinda in her bubble. We do need to be able to control it and direct it, and it's important that we understand that we actually have the ability to do that we actually have the ability to control that bubble that we're in and to create that bubble of protection so that our body is actually, connected. I don't know that the body is inside the spirit like Glinda in her bubble, but I do know that what is of our spirit is mostly outside of the human body, and our body is as if you were to, as if you were the string on the balloon. Okay, so there is more to our spirit than what can inhabit the body. The spirit is far too large and strong and powerful to inhabit into our human body. Okay, so we blend. And so this, if you think of it like Glinda's bubble, and the body is partly in. I have always explained it, because I just like this analogy of these guys in the parades. I think they might be part of the Shriners. The guys in the parade who wear pants and no shirt, and they draw a face on their body, and they put their arms up, and they have a hat that their arms are holding up, and they go down the parade, like this. I always just love that visual because it's silly, but it reminds us that if our face is here in our chest area, which is what they've drawn, there's so much more above us than what is in the body, okay? And so, we have people who explain it like, the iceberg is above the water, and then there's so much more that's below the water. I also like the part of the balloon and the string, that we are the balloon. We are part of the soul. We are part of the goings on, but the soul is far too vast to fit into the human body. So the human body is connected to the soul. We are not in the soul. We are connected and blended, and we have this cross part where we are blended, and then we have more of our soul here and the rest of our body. There's lots of different teachers explaining it in lots of different ways, whatever works for you. And it's important that you are, having a visual that works for you. Scott says he knows the brighter light, the more someone can try and bring you down. Of course, it's like that whole thing about crabs in a pot. Like if one crab tries to climb out, the other crabs will try and pull him back. And it might not be malicious. It might be. It might not be malicious. It might be that, another vendor wants to do better, so they're, being jealous, or I don't know. And it's not my business to know. That is not my business. My point is, when you are going in your direction and you are focused and staying in your lane and doing your work, and you are going in the direction that you are called to go, following your heart, your spirit, your alignment, and you're going in that direction, there will likely always be somebody who wants to be pooping on your parade, okay? So we have some choices. We can make sure that we are energetically clean. I love my selenite wand. We can clean the energy and do all kinds of things that way. I love my selenite ball, which I will also often pull in my heart, make sure that my thoughts are clean, my words are clean, my heart is clean, or that should be thoughts, it should be heart. We're backwards. So there's things that we can do. Energy healers. I asked my husband, who's an amazing energy healer, to do some work with me today. It's important that we have tools available to us. So my partner had some good energy spray. She had chalk she was marking on the floor. And, we shifted together. We shifted the energy, and I'm very grateful for her collaboration, as always. But it is so important that we understand that Scott's right. The brighter the light, the more there will be someone who's trying to dim it. Okay, someone who's jealous of it, or someone who just wants to partake or siphon it, or doesn't understand it. And a lot of times people, what they don't understand, they want to dismiss or silence, okay? Because that's easier than trying to take the time to understand something, okay? And, we're all guilty of those kind of things, and we all have, our preconceived those filters that have, given us opinions about things. There's one group of vendors that is at all of these Spirit Fest events, and I don't even want to walk by their booth, and that's just me, okay? I don't send anything negative their way. I just don't want to be where they are, okay? And that's just me. They're not doing anything wrong that I could prove, but let's just say it's not in alignment with me, and so I choose not to have my energy integrate, okay? So we have some choices, and the thing that I really want to make clear in the personal, because then we're going to expand it out into the space, is we have more power than we are led to believe. We are led to believe that the spirit and the body, and this is it, and we, control your space, you have, just this little, and that's not the truth. We have the ability to fill ourselves with light, to expand that light, to push off anything that is clinging onto us or anything that somebody is trying to put near to us, and we can expand it like a balloon, like a bubble, and we can push those things away, and we make that bubble of protection around us. And we can also call in our angels, our guides, our loved ones in spirit, and ask them to have that, to contribute their energy and bring that protection in us. Chris is helping with more information as always. The parade guys are body puppets, and the Shriners are the ones with the silly hats and the tiny cars. Thank you very much. Okay, the body puppet guys. I like those guys. They crack me up. Okay, so having crystals, having essential oils, having that ability to fill ourselves with light. So there have been times in my experience where, once or twice, where something or someone from the other side has tried to come and attack and send negative energy. And there's a couple of things that I want to really reiterate about this. When someone or something comes and puts negative energy towards us, we have a few options. We have, because we have power, okay? We have control, and this is a place where I think people don't remember that they have more power and control than they think. If someone is trying to send negative energy in your way, we can actively envision this light coming down from the chakra and filling up our human vessel body as if we are the balloon, and we fill it up, and then remember the Play-Doh thing? You put the Play-Doh in and you would press down the Fun Factory and whatever the little stencil you had on the front, and it would go out like that. Okay. So in my visualization, the thing that has always worked for me is to bring in the light, to allow the light to come in to the top of my head like, air, helium filling up a balloon, and it's filling all up. And when my human body, and I literally can watch it fill up all the way down to the tips of my toes, and when my body is completely full, I blow up like Violet Beauregard, blowing up like a blueberry. And when my body can take no more, then it starts to ooze out like the Play-Doh Fun Factory. Out my pores, the light's coming out my pores, the light's coming out my pores, and anything that was on my body was to come pushed off, and not my clothes, thank you very much, but to push out, and anything that was attached to me goes. So in the times where I have had the experience where someone was trying to send negative energy in my way, it was amazing to watch the light be able to push those things out and create a boundary, like where you have this bubble where chaos is going on around, and you can literally like, oh, okay, I can breathe, I can see the chaos, but it's going around and I'm inside this bubble, okay? Scott says, but I totally understand. There will be more spirit fests, and I know our paths will cross when the time is right, and I look forward to that. So, it is, because it's very tempting. The tickets are very inexpensive, but once you're inside, I mean, there's so many wonderful things to spend money on, Scott, so I totally understand. There is very rarely a spirit fest that I walk away from that I didn't buy something, so I get it. Okay, so having these things of protection, having these abilities to protect ourselves, okay? We have resources, we have crystals, we have oils, we have angels and guides, we have the light. And so we can protect ourselves, but let's take this out a little further, okay? Because now we can expand this bubble. Maybe we're not expanding it with our body, so we're not filling up our body. We're now allowing it to push out beyond the body. It's no longer coming through and out. We're allowing it to be outside of the light is now encased us, and now we have this bubble that we have created we want to expand, okay? And so now we can push this out, and we can send good energy, we can send love and healing, and through the law of grace we can send angels and angelic intentions and healing to others. We can't make them accept them, but we can send that through the law of grace. We can send through the law of vibration. We can connect our energies with the universe and help to expand. So there are many things that we can do now that we take our cleaning and our light and our bubble, and we can expand it to include others, okay? And this is one of the things that's really important, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now that is happening for what does not seem like the greater good, but when we can look at these individual things and say, okay, well, this is a time when this negative thing happened, and how can I find the blessing in it? To be able to say, okay, I saw that this person specifically tried to do something negative to me or at me to have something negative come my way, and now I can see that actually the universe used it for a positive. Okay? Now, we can always look and find negative things. We can always look and see, oh, well, that sucked, and this is terrible, and this is horrible. It is very easy to find negative things. It can be much harder. It takes more energy for us to choose to look for the positives. And you all have heard me talk about the horse poop and the ponies and all of that, right? It takes more energy for us to look for the positives. So when I have somebody who, okay, so this is one story that had happened, and these things don't happen very often because I don't allow that. So I had a woman who came to me. She wanted to have information connected mediumistically from her grandmother. Her grandmother was a very private woman. They had a very contentious relationship. She did not want this woman to know the things the grandmother had taken to the grave. Even now, we know on the other side that people are going to come through how they come through, and not everybody crosses the other side and immediately gets enlightened and evolved. And to be like, oh, it's a love. Okay, yes, it is only a love up there. Oh, look, you are a spammer. We are the spammers. We haven't had spammers in a while. Bye. Bye. So, the women, if you're a spammer, just go, because we're going to block you, like blocked. Bye. Okay. So after the reading, because from the collective energy and, her guides, my guides, we were able to get the answers to the questions that the woman wanted. But after the reading, the woman's grandmother came to me and was really having negative energy come to me. And in the moment, I thought, oh, this is very bad. And afterwards, to be able to say, hi, Lorraine, welcome, new friend. Afterwards, to be able to say, where is the blessing in this? And from that, to be able to say, I learned how to handle that situation from having been through it. Okay? So often, especially with young people, they're like, I have a 24-year-old, thank you. I have a 24-year-old, boy, don't they know everything, and he's a very, very smart guy, and he has a lot of knowledge, he's very, got a lot of common sense, but boy, don't they think they know everything. So I did a reading yesterday with a wonderful young woman, about 20, 21 years old, and I said some things, and she, thank you, gesundheit, and she said, I said, blah, blah, and she said, what? And I said, yeah, blah, blah, and she's like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, that's because you're 21. So the more we experience things, the more we are capable of handling experiences, okay? And so it's the same with our energy. When we are experiencing things, even when they are feeling negative in the moment, we can learn better how to handle them. And so when something negative is around you, coming your way, negative energy, something, that's not making you happy, come back to the light. Remember you have power. Come back to the light. Fill up from the crown chakra. Fill your body as if you are the balloon. Fill up. Let it expand around you. Let it push out your pores like the Play-Doh Fun Factory. Let it push out your pores so that the light is cleansing everything in you and outside of you and around you. And then honestly, the other thing that I will do is I now imagine this light to be swirling in a counterclockwise direction. And counterclockwise is from in front of you, from your right to your left. Okay, so and then back around, and to swirl in this counterclockwise direction. And I'll just feel it pulling anything negative off of me, out of me, just pull, 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 pull. And then when I'm ready, it just stop, and I let it just shoom, flush to the floor. Flush to the floor. Just let it just shoom. And then it just swirls, and I say, go down to Mother Earth. Mother Earth knows what to do with you. And she will put you back to work and use your energy in a way that blesses the earth and feeds and fertilizes. Because take, whatever this is and just go. Okay. Scott says, hearing parents fight verbally, it's hard to ignore them. So put in earplugs and put up your protective shields. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can also use a crystal grid. So we have a crystal grid in our house. So there's selenite, there's labradorite, there's black tourmaline, there is red carnelian, so as all part of the crystal grid. So we have that. Some pieces in every single room, and so you can look up information about crystal grids. And those things are great. And even if it's just in your room, you can put a crystal grid in your room. And when my kids were younger, I would sneak into their rooms and put some labradorite on top of the door frame, or in the back of a shelf so they wouldn't find it. They always found it. But Mom, what are you doing putting your woo-woo stuff in here? But we wanted to make sure that their rooms were connected to the crystal grid and that they had the protection. So there's a lot of different things that we can do. Okay. So the thing that I really wanted to talk about today was, we are the human body connected to the higher soul. Okay, so we have the ability to tap into this higher power because the soul is so much more powerful than we are, and only a piece of us is connected to the soul. There's so much more that's there, and so we have the ability to bring in this power, and we have the ability to utilize the power. Okay, we are not powerless. We are maybe power naive on how to connect and how to utilize, but it is really important that we are understanding that we have the ability to utilize our power by tapping into the soul's energy, tapping into the light source, and being able to utilize that energy to protect us, to lift us, and then to expand that out so that we are able to protect and lift others, expanding our vibration, that we are raising our vibration, we're expanding it out so others are able to connect. And because we do, like attract like. So those folks who are vibrating at that higher level are going to be like, oh, I want to go over here and be with that group over here. And now you connect, and your wavelengths expand and expand and expand. Okay. One of the reasons that we are seeing so much chaos and conflict going on in the world right now, and it is not easy to watch. It is not. It's not easy to watch what's going on in America. It's not easy to watch what's going on in the Middle East. It's not easy to watch what's going on in Ukraine. It is not easy to watch. Okay. One of the reasons that so much of this is happening right now, and so much is unrest, Africa as well, there is the reason that there is so much conflict that's going on right now is because so many people had raised that vibration, were knowing how to pull in that light and raise their vibration and connect that bubble of light with others, raising the vibration, that people who were in the status quo and who wanted to take back the power that they could control said, oh, wait, no, we have to make sure that we are passing laws and starting wars and doing all these things to be able to control, to stay in power, to stay in control, so that we are not ceding power to people who are connecting to some mythological light something source energy that nobody can see or quantify. Right? So this is a thing that we're seeing, that all of these things are being led with a fear vibration. So these people are afraid of what is happening with all of the people waking up to the light, to be able to connect into higher powers and higher guidance, that the folks who are trying to start wars and pass restrictive laws and things are wanting to be the ones in control, and they're trying to lead by fear. These people are to blame for your problems, the same thing we saw in World War II. These people are to blame for your problems, so we have to get rid of those people. This is where your problem lies. If we get rid of these people, then everything goes back to normal, which is a lie, because we know that that is not how it works, and we know that that's not true. If you read the poem, who I can't remember who wrote it, but it's a very, very famous poem. And first they came for this group of people, and I didn't say anything because I was not part of them. And then they came for this group of people, and so there will always be a group of people that those who want to maintain control and power will always be able to point to some group of people to say, this is where the problem is. And we, as light workers, are going to be on that list, of course, but we are creating the vibration that makes those people, the power hungry, those people, to be more nervous, because more and more people are waking up to wanting something bigger, wanting to connect to something bigger, knowing there's something bigger to connect with, and so they're making all those other people very nervous, which is why they are wanting to lead with fear that says, fear this, fear this, fear this, and we're going to be the ones to save you. Okay, it's a very, very old playbook. It's been done many times in many wars and many conflicts throughout human existence. That is, and it probably will not be over, anytime soon, because there will always be somebody to say, this is something that you need to be afraid of, and this is the problem with your, this is what can solve your problem. So for us, as we continue to raise our vibration, there's a place of this to feel joyful that the moving and shaking and the vibration raising that we're doing in our communities of light around the world is working. But on the other hand, we know that it is causing so much, we are not causing, but the imbalance and the shaking creates so much resettlement, unsettling, and is causing so much pain and hurt for so many. We are not the ones causing it, but as humanity is continuing to wake up and continuing to express itself, we are in this era of the chakra, the third chakra, that it is continuing to cause unrest, the ones who get it and the ones who are afraid of it. So something to think about. So I really wanted to kind of tap into some of that today. So hello, Robin, and I'm so sorry for your loss. And thank you, Chris, for explaining to our new friends, and that's wonderful, and I appreciate that so much. Scott says the evil energy in the world is overwhelming, and trying to keep going, and so staying positive is harder. So having our community meetings on Mondays and coming together and being able to tap into other organizations and other groups that are leading with light is really, really important. The Shift Network is a great place. Other people, other places like Kyle Gray and the people I talk about, Hay House, Mike Dooley, with the Infinite Possibilities, and we're going to hear more about Infinite Possibilities as we're going forward in the next couple months as well. So there's a lot of great resources. There's tons of websites and YouTube channels where people are sharing lots of positive information. And if you find those things, please feel free to share them here, okay? Chris said that she learned it's not a poem, it was a collection of lines from Reverend Niemöller's public sermons and speeches about the Nazis. There are a variety of things that the Nazis came for. Yeah, absolutely. They came for a lot of people. I mean, mostly the Jews, but a whole lot of other people for sure. And Scott, am I odd for not wanting to fight people? Doing so seems like a waste of energy. So you're not odd at all, because we cannot simultaneously try to prevent something and fight against it at the same time. It's like energy that's going like this, okay? So we can choose to fight it by love bombing it and putting love around it and sending love to it. Because here's the thing, the evil, and Sharon says evil in the world is not new, it's just shifting from one group from another, and that is true. However, there will always be evil, because otherwise we will forget how much hope and joy and love is stronger, right? And fighting against it. What was it, Mother Teresa's quote? I don't want to come for a war protest, but if you have a peace rally, to promote peace, I'll be all about it. Okay, so, and it's hard because, like, for me personally, I'm very much of an activist, and I really do want to be involved in helping stand up against injustices and spread the word of injustice, what's going on, and make sure that people know what's going on, because so much is trying to be hidden. And so I do get very angry and upset, and then I come, to like, okay, I want to remember that even though these people are doing horrible things that we deem horrible, there is some segment that doesn't deem it to be horrible, and that all of us, regardless of what segment we are all children of divine light. We are all creatures of light and love. Even the worst of the Nazis, we are, it's very hard. People really want to know that Adolf Hitler, went to hell, or that he went to be judged and he went to be punished. And, as much as I would, part of me as a Jewish woman would like to know that, I know that that's not the truth, because his purpose here was to do something to change humanity. And I don't really know all of those, like what that purpose but I know that there are many blessings, as much as the horrors and tragedies and things that came out of the Holocaust that are just horrible and not forgivable. There were other good things that did come, okay? And so I really do try personally to say, as much as these people, there is that human side of me that wants to go, what are you doing? Knock it off, right? I still want to say, what did Jesus say? Forgive them, they know not what they do, right? And so there is that part of it. They're here for some purpose, because some part of humanity created them to bring humanity to another place, to another level, to another understanding. And though we don't get to another understanding if we don't realize the horrors that we are capable of. And so, we're in the understanding the horrors that we're capable of part right now. So, let's see. Chris says, Scott, not odd at all. Yep, we're all in it, right? Why don't participate in an anti-war? Yes, that's the Mother Teresa quote that Chris has shared. As soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I will be there. Definitely, Scott, you are not alone, not even. So, Elohai, Lama Sabatani. Okay. I know that is something is it Arabic? I know you told me that saying once before. That's not Hebrew, I don't think. Okay. So, irregardless, let's pick some cards. The point of today's channel was to remind us of the power, to remind us that regardless of where the moon is, regardless of where the planets are, regardless of we are always a human that is connected to a soul that is part of a bigger picture, that there's so much more to the soul than is in our human body, and that we have the ability to do much, much more, especially when we collaborate with the light, the angels, the guides, all of that. That we do not have to be victims, that we can bring in light, how we can bring in light, and how we can expand it out to create those bubbles of protection around us and to raise our vibrations, and then in turn expand that even further, connecting into others to help raise collective vibrations. Okay, this today was about taking back our power and understanding that we have power. Okay, that's very important. Scott says, since I was a kid, I found it really hard to yell at someone. It's just not in me unless I'm pushed really hard. Otherwise, disengage and walk away. Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. We always need people, good people, to hold the line, to hold the vibrations. Any kind of a movement is going to need people behind the scenes and people up front. We all have different skills. We all have different abilities. In my family, we've always said, do the work that you've been given. We all came here to do certain works. We came here to have certain soul experiences, and at the same time we also came to be of service to humanity. We came here with a task list of things that we wanted to experience, things that we wanted to achieve, accomplish, participate in, be whatever, so that our soul could learn. The soul can't learn what pizza tastes like if the human doesn't eat pizza. The soul can't understand what resistance or retaliation or standing up or sitting down or any of these things are like if the human is not involved. We all have different skills and abilities, and we all came here to bring that to the table. So we do not have to apologize for, I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that. Look at what you are doing. Look at what you are capable of. What are you capable of doing? We are all capable of bringing in the light, expanding it out, creating that. I have sat in, with people where they come in and they just sit down or whatever, and I'm like, I don't like the energy of that person. Do I want to move? No, I want them to move. Bring in the light. Okay, a couple minutes later, that person gets up with me. Okay, so we don't have to apologize for what we do or do not do from a vibrational standpoint. We are all doing what we came here to do, and you participate to the level that it works for your human and keeps your soul engaged, and you don't have to do what someone else is doing. Okay, humanity needs people at every level, right? It's like Pandora's box. We need people who are vibrating at every level so that we can better understand what happens in vibration at every level. That's why we're never going to eradicate hate. We're never going to eradicate violence, as much as it would be great if we could. It's never going to happen because we still need people who are vibrating at those levels. Okay. Chris says her best friend was so much like Scott. We found an injustice going on. He'd step up and figure out how to make it right. He was an incredible human being, which makes Chris rightly think that Scott is also. And we know, those of us, I think some of us know that that unfortunately that person that Chris is referencing, it just transitioned recently to the spirit side, and so we're very profoundly sad for the loss, but we are also looking forward to seeing what wondrous things he's going to do from the other side, because sometimes our loved ones have to go because they can be more of service to us from the other side. Okay, that is small comfort when you're in it, but can be more comfort as we go. All right, let's see. Lots of important conversations today. Let's see what's going on. So, very interesting. So, this first card is number 11, which is that paired number, right? We are not alone. We are with the power of the universe. We are the human and the soul together, and the power of the light in the universe. But this is by the book, and this is reminding us that there's not shortcuts to get forward, right? There's not shortcuts, that we are going in the direction that we're going. We're going in the direction that we're being called and led. We're going in the direction that humanity is needing to go. We're going in the direction that is going to help us all evolve. And I love, yes, it's the elephants and the elephants on parade and the little ones are at the back, but as we continue to grow and evolve, the elephants get bigger, okay? Our jobs get bigger, our careers get bigger, our responsibilities get bigger, but so does our energy signature, because so there's not a way, it's not just about going in that right direction, but it's knowing that we're going and expanding and expanding and expanding as we're going, okay? So what else do we need to know about what's going on right now? So this is here and now, and this is card 32. So 3 and 2. 3 tells us there's more to the story that's going on. 2 reminds us again that we're not alone. We have this partnership, and so we have the 1s, now we have the 2s and 3s, that we're going in the right direction, and again, going in the right direction, and 2 and 3 is 5 that says, hey, you guys are getting to the hard part, okay? We're getting to the crux of the situation. We're getting to the part where it's really difficult. The top of the, we've climbing to the top of the hill. We're getting up to that top of the hill where it's really hard, and we're going to be able to come to the other side of conflict soon, okay? But this is here and now card, and this reminds us that whatever it is that's going on, it is really important for us to stay in the peace. And so notice that she's sitting on top of the egg of creation, of possibility. She's got her house in there, that everything is with her. She's, sitting on top. She's, not like in any kind of distress, that she is sitting on top of possibility. She's sitting on top of creation. And while all things might be going on around her, past and present, that past and future things are going on, she is sitting in the light, and she is sitting in the place of peace and allowing things to unfold before she makes the next decision. Okay, so we are allowing, now it's cloudy skies, right? It's cloudy skies, but this is, again, allowing things to go to unfold before we make rash decisions, right? Allowing ourselves to be present in the moment and to appreciate the blessings that are in the moment, okay? So how do we take a breath, and how do we stay centered during all of this chaos? And so here's all that glitters, and it's upside down, and it reminds us that there's, all flash, no substance, and that in the end, substance is going to win out. So right now, where things may feel a lot of flash, whether that's people saying, fake words, or, dropping lots of explosion things that are flashing, or there's lots of chaos and drama and things that are very, very loud, underneath of that, there is more substance. Underneath of that is what's real. So this is upside down. It reminds us we need to turn it right side up. And in order for us to do that, we are paying attention to the other pictures, right? We're paying attention to the other pieces of the puzzle that are not all about the noise and the noise. We're looking at the stuff that's underneath the pile of the gold. We're looking at the deeper meanings. We're looking at those deeper connections, keeping our vibration and not worrying about the look of things, right? So we can really be blinded by headlines and things like that. Take the time to look a little deeper and know that this is of the 16, right? So 1 and 6 is, thunder and lightning. Yeah, we had all this weekend. We had a lot of rain and thunder and lightning. But look, we have the wisdom keeper up here, the wisdom keeper. See the little face hidden up there. Okay, the wisdom is in the light, right? That source, the spirit, it's in the light. And then also this is 16. So 16, 1, remember 1, connected to God, connected to source, connected to the light. But 6 tells us we've been here before, right? We have been around this circle, we have been around this circle. But remember, we had 5 getting up into the crux of the situation, getting up to the hardest parts, right? And 6 is like, all right, let's look it around. This is a time for us to be able to make some changes, make some decisions. But 6 tells us, because we're still up at that peak, getting ready to conquer it and come down, right? But 6 tells us that we have had this sacred geometry. We've been around this story, and that 6 says, hey, instead of the 8 that says we're going around and around and around, the 6 says we've gone around, but this is a spiral. So we're coming around again. We've seen this. How do we go and view this from a higher perspective? As we're coming around, how do we view this from a higher perspective? We're coming around. How do we view this from the higher perspective? Okay, so this reminds us that there is more to the story. That's what's going on. There's more for us than just the noise and the flash and the drama. For us to look a little deeper, looking at what is what else is going on. Oh, it's dark and cloudy in Longwood. Okay, now I got to look out the window. No, it seems okay here. So Longwood's about 30 minutes north of where I am, 25 minutes. Lots of 3s. So 3 tells us there's more to the story. 3 encourages us to really look a little deeper. But numbers that are in progression tells you that you're going in the right direction, you're on the right track. Okay, so 333 is like, yes, we're look a little deeper. If you're seeing 3, lots of 3s, this is, okay, what are you missing? What signs are you missing? What pieces of the puzzle are you missing? If you're just looking at the surface level, maybe look a little deeper. But those numbers in progression are telling us that it's like, okay, we're going in the right direction. Keep the faith, keep the pace. Okay. All right, so let's see if we can do a couple of individual card readings for folks before everybody gets rained on. So if you are ready for a card, just let me know in the comments. And Robin, if you are still here, we'll see if we can't answer your request as well. Okay. Okay, so we have Sharon and, I didn't do our, Sharon, thank you for reminding me. Every time I look at Sharon, I get reminded. We did not do our Israeli angel cards, and 2 of them just flopped right out onto my thing. So this is humility and camaraderie. So humility and camaraderie. So the Israeli angel cards are conceptualized. They're meant to sit on top of the other cards to remind us of other things for us to be aware of as we're going forward with, what's going on with my hair? Okay. Of other things as we are going forward, to be able to remember these bigger ideas as we are going forward in our week with these other cards of by the book, all that glitters, and here and now. That as we are going forward with these cards, we want to keep in mind that camaraderie is where we look at other people who maybe we don't agree with, and we say, listen, they're still children of the light also. They may be a little lost, or we may not agree, maybe we're lost, but they're still children of the light. And we have that humility that says we don't know it all, okay? We don't know it all, we can't know it all until we get to the other side, and even when we get to the other side, we still don't know it all, which is why we have people who get to the other side and they're still working on stuff, okay? So we can't know it all, and that's okay. That's okay. We give ourselves grace. We give ourselves the opportunity to continue to listen, continue to learn. So, all right. So let's go back. And so we started with Sharon. And so Sharon, this is the Observer card, but it was upside down. So Sharon, this is with the Observer card. So this is 49. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we saw the 3 number just a few minutes ago. So 4 and 9 is 13, 1 and 3 is 4. So this reminds you of the support that's around you. But at the same time, this is asking you to just take a step back, because the Observer card was upside down. And so this is reminding you to take a step back and just allow things to unfold, release the things that you cannot control, and just know that you don't have to have an explanation for everything, and just appreciate things as they are developing. Okay, so this is sometimes when the Observer card is upside down, it's a little bit of a difficult card, because it really is telling us that we can't fix it all or we can't control things. And so sometimes we have to just sit back and watch, okay? And that can be very frustrating for those of us who like to get in there and be like, okay, let's go do it, let's get stuff done, that this is can be one of those more frustrating cards. So Sharon, it's not a bad card, it just says that right now you've got to stay in your lane and you've got to allow things to unfold and know that you can't always have control of everything, okay? So that there is still, because if you look, the observer is looking up, we know that we're still looking up, okay? We know that we're still in co-creation, co-collaboration with the spirit side, okay? All right, so Ellen card, another upside down card. This is chaos and conflict, and this is 33. So we were just talking about what the threes mean. So this is chaos and conflict. And so Ellen, this is really about having an understanding of who you want to be, where you want to go, how you want to show up in the world with chaos and conflict. It is telling you that, so if you look really close, this is a zebra that is painted to look like a giraffe. But he's got this zebra in the belly here. But right here, if you can see, it kind of looks like there's like a leg kind of coming up for him as well, as if it's a baby zebra underneath that's holding on to the belly here, okay? And so it's, to me, this kind of always looked like a little marsupial holding on underneath of the belly. The chaos and conflict, when it's upside down, it reminds us again of things that we can't control, but it also asks us to step away from the places that are of the conflict, right? So it says, listen, we need to be the ones to say, I don't want to engage in this. I don't want to be drawn into someone else's chaos and conflict, okay? So this is a really good reminder, Ellen, again, of the power that we have, that we can say, you know what, not my circus, not my monkeys, I don't want to play. Okay, and this is a really important message when I, am around people who might be trying to send negative energy my way, and I know with the work that I do, there's plenty of them, and that's okay, that's on them. I'm choosing not to play. I'm choosing not to engage in that. I don't want to participate. I don't want to get my energy connected up with somebody else's drama, someone else's chaos and conflict. Okay, so Sharon, this card coming in upside down is, Ellen, this card coming in upside down is this reminder that you can choose not to engage in that chaos and conflict. And I think Scott gave us, in his comments before, gave us a great example of that. So, okay, so we have Chris and Belinda. Okay. So this also upside down. This card is to be fair, and this is 38. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So what a wonderful number for you, knowing that your best friend is still with you and walking beside you, which I know you know that, but this is to be fair, okay? And so there's a lot of this that has to do with some of the drama and things that have been going on with you as well, but this is, when this card is upside down, it really is this releasing the things. This is a big message right now that seems to be coming across, is the releasing the things we can't control, okay? To be fair, when this is upside down, we are very aware that things can go along that are so not fair, okay? And so this card reminds us that we release what we can't control. Okay, we say the serenity prayer, God grant me the serenity to fix the things I can, and release the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. That this really reminds us to release the things that we cannot control, and to not to blame or try to hold ourselves accountable for things that are not ours, okay? And so this really is this confirmation card that says, we know life is not fair. We know that shitty, difficult things are going to happen, and that things are going to happen that we're going to feel like in that moment just suck, or that we're being punished or something, but that there's more to it, and part of that is about learning to let go, okay? Letting go of those things we can't control, and it really feels like that is a big lesson, that is the overarching thing. And so as much as we were talking earlier about, I really want you to understand you have so much more power to control your space, control your energy, and not be a victim, and not have to just sit idly by and let things happen. This is also a big reminder that says we don't have to engage in every cotton picking thing that comes along. We can let go of the things that are not for us, okay? All right, so, because there are going to be things that we just can't fix, and that there are things that are not in our control. So we can pray for and send energy to, and send our bubble to the people who can. Okay? Sometimes that is the best thing that we can do, is send our energy and our love and our prayers and our, law of grace to the people who can fix it. Because sometimes we just can't. Okay. All right. So this is for Belinda. This is also upside down. Lots of upside downs today. This is the Thinker card. So this is the 44 card, 44. So lots of support around Belinda, right? So we've got 4 and 4, but it also is this reminder that 4 and 4 is 8. So sometimes 8 can be, 8 is that infinity number, and sometimes that feels like we're spinning our wheels, right? We're going around in circles, around, in circles. And so this Thinker's card, now this one is right side up. Was it? Yes, this one was right side up. This is, hey, stop overthinking things. Okay, so for Belinda, stop overthinking, stop trying to overanalyze things, stop trying to figure it all out. Sometimes, again, let it go, let things play out, that it isn't necessarily for us. So how do you, can you zoom out and see this from another perspective? But it's reminding you that you don't, again, you don't control it all, but it's also reminding you that you can think until the cows come home and you'll still not have an answer. You can make yourself crazy going around and around and around. That this is an opportunity for you to say, okay, listen, I'm going to make my best decision that I can make in this moment in the time with the information that I have, and then I'm going to choose to go forward. Okay? So Belinda, this is giving yourself permission to stop overthinking and be able to allow yourself to take a step forward. The universe can't help us go in a direction or not a direction if we don't put our foot forward. We have to take a step. Even a baby step, okay? Take a step. All right, so this is Lorraine. I absolutely see your comment. So Chris says, Arabic humility is al-tawadu, camaraderie is al-rifqa, okay? Outside of my sphere of influence. Absolutely, Sharon, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't make my content manager cry on purpose. I happen to love my content manager like really a lot, and so sometimes things happen. Ellen and Sharon, you are welcome. You are welcome. All right, Lorraine, and then I also see Maria. Okay, so Lorraine, this is community. So now it's very interesting because here's 8. This card is 8, and we literally just talked about 8. Okay, so this card is community, Lorraine, and it's very interesting because I know you've been talking about coming to join us on Monday, so welcome to our community. So please take this as a confirmation. But this is also, this 8 card is that infinity card that says, hey, where are you going around and round and round and round and round, and how can you zoom out and see things from a different perspective? Or in the community card, how can you connect with others to be able to help move you to a higher level, move you to a new place, because you are now connecting with others. You are being able to bring others into your tent or go into the tent of others and know that you are not alone, that there is a place for you to connect with other people and to be part of the community. So this is a welcome, a really wonderful confirmation that you're here. We're so glad that you're here to be part of our community, and just know that allowing yourself to connect to others who have the similar vibrations is a good thing. Okay? All right, and so then we have Maria. You are very welcome, Belinda. All right, Maria, this is back to upside down cards. This is Unfinished Symphony. This is card number 10. So 10 reminds us it's the end of a chapter, but also the beginning of a new adventure. So this is Unfinished Symphony, Maria. So this is really saying, like, you have some other things to do, some other things to think about. So while you might think that this chapter is finished and maybe this part is behind you, the universe is trying to say, listen, there's more inside of you that is ready to be revealed. There's really a soul expansion period for you. There's more inside of you that is ready to come out, that is about your personal growth. And so the big encouragement from this is really about allowing things to unfold, allowing yourself to expand, allowing yourself to be on that journey, okay, so that you are being in harmony with yourself and in harmony with the universe, okay? Oh my goodness, such big messages today. So I wanted to pick one more card. I always like to pick one more card before we end. And so this is the Happy Happy card. Happy Happy, what a good way to end. It says, hey, listen, we might feel like we can't control, we can't fix, but we can do what we can do. We do the work that we've been given, and we let go of the things that we can't control, and we send love and energy to those people who can have that influence. That's the work that they've been given. Okay, so we send light and love energy in those places. Okay, so here we have the Happy Happy card, and Happy Happy card is 26. 2 and 6 is 8, right? So infinity, that tells us we're going around and around, but that we can choose to be happy while we're on the journey, and we can choose to remember to tap in. Remember, look here she is. She's holding in the light. She's going in the light. She's bringing the light in. It's filling her all up with the light. Look at all the light is emanating around from her. Okay, she's literally filling in, as just as we talked about in the beginning. So just as we'll talk talk about at the end, bringing in that light, allowing it to come in through the crown chakra, fill up your entire body of light, and to be able to push that out to share it with others, okay? So while it might feel like it's really loud and there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, that we still have the power to bring in the light. We have the power to bless ourselves, to bless others. We have the power to send that light and love out where it's needed. Okay, we still have a role to play, and that it is okay if sometimes you just need to like put your head under the pillow, and that is okay. But when we can send that high vibration out to others and others in the world, people who are on the front lines, so that we're supporting them so they don't get burned out, that is really, really important, whatever that front line might be. Okay, so we all as light workers have an important part to play, both in filling our own selves with light and making sure we remember we're powerful. We are powerful. We are powerful beings of light and love, and that we are filling in with that love, and we are expanding that love out to others, and we're to include others, and that we're sending that love where it needs to go. Okay? So right now, I'm sending so much love to you, and I thank you so much for taking some time on a Monday to be here, and I look forward to seeing you all next Monday. If you are in Canada, I wish you a very happy holiday. I know it's a big holiday in Canada. It's something akin to, I forget what it is, but it's a big holiday. And if you're in the United States, happy 4th of July as we go forward on Friday. And we'll look forward to see you all back here next week. Bye. You are loved. Mwah.